Hello, 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 and welcome to my YouTube channel. I don't do a lot of live broadcasts, but I'm very excited to do one tonight. There's a special occasion, and I wanted to reach out to everybody and let you know about something that's really interesting going on. And of course, it involves Ryan Bell with the Secular Student Alliance. You might know him from writing the book, A Year Without God. And I'm not going to spend too much time with the intro. I want to get right to it. We've got some really exciting news, some things that are in the pipeline, and we're doing this live stream to tell you all about it. So let me turn it over to Ryan Bell. How you doing, Ryan?
Doing good, doing good. Thanks for having me on.
For sure. Have we ever met in person? I don't think we have.
I'm afraid we haven't had that opportunity.
Yeah, I'd really like to go out to dinner or do something, hang out and catch up.
Yeah, that'd be great. Next time I'm in Texas, I'll or the right part of Texas.
Right. Well, we might cross paths outside of Texas too.
That's true.
I'm a little familiar with your story, but for people who are watching the feed and might not be, do you want to just give us like a 30-second or 1 minute?
Sure. Update? Yeah, so I grew up in a religious family, and the really short version is that I ended up becoming a pastor straight out of my undergraduate program at a small faith-based Bible college, and at the age of 22, I had the responsibility for 3 churches, gradually becoming more and more progressive in my views, both in religion as well as in politics, over the course of a 19-year career in pastoral ministry in the Seventh-day Adventist Church. And that sort of gradual sort of transition concluded in 2013, being let go by the church because I just didn't believe enough of the things to be considered a Seventh-day Adventist anymore. And then it continued from there until I decided that I just didn't believe any of it anymore. But my core orientation as a person to equality and justice and contributing to the world in a positive way was always, of course, the same. It just didn't have that God overlay on it. So yeah, so in 2014, I wrote the blog A Year Without God, sort of chronicling my exploration of atheism and kind of visiting like atheist conferences, atheist gatherings, talking to atheists about their stories, how they became atheists. Some, of course, always were atheists growing up, and some were Christians like me who became atheists. So I kind of got all those stories as a part of my sort of process of exploring, of course, looking at theology and that kind of thing, and just concluded at the end of 2014 that I wasn't a believer anymore. And then somewhere along in the middle of 2015, started my podcast, Life After God. And then about 9 months ago, started working at Secular Student Alliance, which is a really great sort of full circle kind of thing, because it's almost like youth ministry, but without the God part.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, with your background, it seems like a really good fit for the SSA. And I think I misspoke earlier when I said that you wrote a book called A Life Without God, or A Year Without God is your blog, and then your podcast, which I've listened to a couple times, and I know a few people that were on your show, and I think I've heard you even be interviewed. Maybe it was I think it was David Smalley. Maybe were you on?
Yeah, I've been on his show a few times.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I'm really familiar with your story, and now you got this gig with the SSA, which I'm a little jealous because they're the future. They have so many great ideas, and then you get to be the head of this organization.
Well, to be clear, I'm not the head.
How did that all come about?
I'm not the executive director. I'm the program director. There's one guy that's in charge of the whole thing, and that's Kevin Bowling, who's somewhat new to the secular community, comes from the nonprofit world, and based here in Pasadena. So, but yeah, I have the real privilege of being in charge of the program side, of which is literally everything we do. Working with students, we have about 200 chapters that are active and a few that are sort of dormant at the moment, but at least 200 active chapters across the United States. Young adults doing fantastic activism work on campuses, people like Daniel, and so super exciting to work with them.
Yeah. Now the thing that got my attention, and I've given a couple talks to the SSA about SE here in town. and it was really cool to be able to give a talk and then see the students the next week going out and or just having better conversations with the people who were on campus, and not necessarily God believers, but people that they just maybe disagreed with on a topic.
Sure.
And it seemed like their conversations were improving. And then to hear that you have this conference coming up, it got our attention. Like, oh wow,
Yeah.
This could be a really good outreach effort to tell a lot of people about street epistemology that are in that university setting that can really benefit from it. Do you want to tell us a little bit about the conference and what your goals are and that type of thing?
Yeah, so the conference is something that's been going on annually for 17 years, the whole life of Secular Student Alliance as an organization. And we're meeting in Columbus, Ohio. That's where the office has been for the lion's share of SSA's life at Ohio State University. We'll be there from June 29th to July 1st and at the Ohio Student Union, Ohio State University Student Union. It's a beautiful location, a beautiful venue. Columbus is gorgeous in July. It's a little warm, but it'll be fine. And so we're really excited. We usually get about 150 to 200 students to come out, and we help provide transportation for some of them that can't afford to travel. We make the registration fee really affordable. It doesn't even really cover the meals that we serve for the students. And it's a big part of our budget. So we actually put a big chunk of money in our annual budget to put on the conference. It's not one of these conferences that's designed to pay for itself or make money. We actually go in our pocket to do it. So super exciting. Students are spread all over the country, and some of the chapters have 2 or 3 aspiring student leaders that are trying to create a vibrant chapter, but it can be really tough to build an SSA chapter. So for them to be able to gather and see 100 other students or 150 other students, it's very it's a big uplift for them, to see that they're not alone trying to do this, and that there are all these ideas that they can learn from other students. So it's a lot of a peer sharing. A bunch of our speakers are students like Daniel and on various different topics who are sharing what they know and what they've learned. So it's not just like older people talking to students, but it's really students talking to students, which is really, I think, super cool.
Well, that's good, because that's kind of what we thought. Even though I would really like to go to this, because I think like this is the perfect market to absorb SE. I understand that, I'm closing on 50 years old here, and these are not difficult concepts to learn. And Daniel is like the perfect person to give a workshop on street epistemology.
I agree.
And he's capable of doing it, and he's eager to do it. So Daniel, you come on in here a little bit and tell us about like sort of how did this all start for you? I know your story obviously, but for the people that don't, and then what are you hoping to bring to the conference when you get up there?
Well, if you watch Anthony's channel and you don't know who I am, then you haven't been watching his channel that closely, I think. I've been around for a year now, around in the secular community. Long story short, I had a conversation with Anthony a few years ago when I was a Christian, part of a college ministry, and now I am an atheist doing street epistemology, and it's just awesome. Life has been really crazy since then, and now I get to go speak at workshops and do my own talk on street epistemology. So it's just been a wonderful, wonderful opportunity for me. Originally, the idea was to get Anthony out there, but I kind of came in and said, hold on there, wait a minute. Maybe I can kind of help out.
You wrestled it away, but frankly, I mean, I understand. I think you'd be great at it, and I've been traveling all year long, and I'm thinking that maybe the university students might relate better to you, especially since you've gone through it. You experienced it. Not only do you understand it, and you've been to workshops and you're going to be attending a thing to learn how to do a workshop. I really can't think of anybody more qualified to do it.
You're a convert.
This particular audience.
It's true. And if you ever hear me talk for 5 minutes on anybody's platform, you know that I'm all about activism for people closer to my age, as far as building communities and building right ways to talk to people and just having good conversations about beliefs. I'm all about that. And so this conference and me being able to speak there is just like the perfect storm of just everything coming together. So I am just super excited for the opportunity, and I can't wait to meet all kinds of new people and make new friends and just see where I go from there. So yeah.
Ryan, were you saying that the people that will be going to this are typically the leaders of the SSAs of their chapters?
Typically, yeah. Typically it's if there's only one person, it tends to be like one of the leaders, either the president or the vice president, whoever can, fit it in their schedule that summer. But a lot of chapters are bringing multiple people. So for example, our Puerto Rico chapter is bringing 4 people all the way from Puerto Rico.
I
to
wonder if we
attend.
met some of them at the American Atheist Conference.
You may have. And then our Utah State in upstate Utah, they're bringing about 5 or 6 people. It's incredible what they're doing. And we have several people coming from Missouri, Central Missouri, and some from as far as USC, where I work on a more regular basis. So yeah, it's pretty cool to see. Oh, Jacksonville State University from Alabama. And Alabama's bringing 10. Jacksonville State is bringing 10 students.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think having leaders of these organizations come and get all these tips and tricks, and then also be able to maybe attend one of the workshop that Daniel's doing, I think would be great for the SSA. I think it would be great for SE, and then they could hopefully go back to their universities and then maybe be inspired to give a talk on it, or share a video, or walk around campus with a T-shirt, or be able to speak to it a little bit. At the very least, explain what it is and maybe direct them to a resource.
I mean, like you said earlier, like where better than on a college campus as a student, where you're learning, you're being exposed to a diversity of ideas on all sorts of subjects, from art to politics to English, literature to religion, and to be able to have good conversations in this Socratic way is a life skill that you'll always be glad you had.
Sure. And I think it goes far beyond the religious debate, the religious discussions that happen. This is a great tool to learn for all that stuff. So I think it's going to be really well received, and I'm really excited to be a part of it. Will it always be in Ohio? Or are you planning to move it? If you do this next year,
yeah, we're going to move it around. We're going to be at USC next year in LA. So since our office moved here, we're going to bring one over here where we are. Give the students a chance to come to the West Coast, and hopefully entice them with Tinseltown a little bit, and the beach and all of that. And then we haven't decided completely, but we'd like to pick some strong chapters at various different universities and host the conference in different states and at different universities.
Every year you'll be a different place?
Yeah, I mean, ideally, I would love that. Yeah, I would love to, and it's in a way, it could be almost like a reward for that chapter. They've really kicked ass and built a really strong chapter, there. And by strong chapter, that can be 10 students, but it doesn't have to be 100 students, but, they got 10 committed students, and they're just doing all kinds of cool stuff. I mean, as you well know, some of the most inspiring stories are a small group of people doing an outsized amount of good work. And so like our students at Baylor, where Daniel's involved, and, they're on a Christian campus. And so they're completely up against all of the Christian privilege there. They're not even allowed to be officially a campus group, and they're doing it anyway, and they're using the Christian meeting times as a time to go and attend those and just raise their hand, ask questions. I had a chance to visit the Baylor chapter. That's where I met Daniel. And we went out for some of the best barbecue in Texas.
Yeah, that's right.
I ate my face off. And, it was just so fun. I mean, it was like, there were like 6 or 7 of you there.
That were there at the dinner, but there's I'd say about 20 of us in the group total. Yeah.
Yeah. On a Christian campus where you're not even allowed to be an official group. So
that's encouraging.
Yeah, we're not allowed to advertise. We're not allowed to tell people we're a real deal. So our activism is very limited. But here's the thing: they can't stop us from having conversations with people. So that's pretty much how Street Epistemology kind of shines when we're on that campus.
I would love to bring the conference to Baylor, to Waco.
Oh man!
Ooh, wow!
If you could pull that off, I'd be impressed.
I like the idea that you're willing to move it around, based on the contribution that the group's doing. I think that's a really good way to motivate people to step up and recognize it. That's pretty cool. So in addition to the workshop, which we're really excited to be able to do, I know Daniel's excited about doing it. There's a tabling opportunity too. And I wanted to cover this before we ended the broadcast, and we can talk about anything else you guys want, but I know we wanted to kind of keep it brief. In addition to the workshop, we'd like to table at this event. And by tabling, we want to have a monitor where we can show some videos. So in between the different talks, people can come up to a table, talk to a volunteer, maybe Daniel himself, and answer your questions about street epistemology. Grab a free t-shirt, grab a magnet or whatever. But we need some money to cover the cost of the tabling and the free stuff that we want to give away. We have to purchase that to give it away. So we're launching a fundraiser for, I think we said, what was the total amount, Daniel? I think I have it here.
$1,500.
Pardon me?
1500.
Yeah, here we go. $1,500. It's not a lot of money. And I'm going to be pasting the link in the chat very soon here once I get it. And I'll tweet it, and we will go ahead and just share this all over social media. And we'll put it in all the Street Epistemology Facebook groups and everything. But I'm pretty optimistic that we're going to raise this money really quickly. And the sooner that we can do it, the sooner we can order the shirts to get them ordered, get them shipped, and give them away to people who will be on universities promoting this method to thousands and thousands of people. And people will be asking them, well, what does that shirt mean? Why are you wearing that? And this is just another opportunity to get the word out. So I've just pasted the link to the GoFundMe in the comments of this video. When this is done, I'll tweet it and I'll put it on social media on the different Facebook groups. But if you have the ability to donate a little bit of money, it's for a good cause. This is a great opportunity to get SE in front of the people who are the leaders of their groups. They're on college campuses, like Ryan said. They're being questioned and challenged, and they're building their worldview as we speak. And if we can get them this tool set, it's going to be huge. So if you can support us, that would be just really wonderful.
And I want to also say that the portion of that comes to the SSA for the table, we, as I mentioned before, we don't really make any money off of this. In fact, we definitely don't make money off this conference. We're giving it away to the students. So think of that as well, that you're really enabling students to be able to travel. We give out tons of travel grants, about $15,000 worth of travel grants we give out to students to be able to get to the conference. And it's only $59 for the student to be able to attend, which doesn't even cover the meals. So you're really supporting student activism on campus in so many different ways by contributing to this.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Like we were saying, 100% of this is going towards SE into the community. We're not taking any of this for ourselves. This is purely for product to give to people and kind of spread the word about how powerful this method is. I know I can personally attest to it working in my own life, but I know that activism on campus as a whole can be very, very tricky. And so the kind of point of this workshop is to not only gear people towards learning people how to use this in their personal lives, but also so that independent organizations, that is the different secular student alliances on each campuses, are able to use this in some sort of capacity. And I'm also going to make sure while I'm there that I'm going to be making myself available as a contact for a lot of these people who are interested in doing more organized SE events on their own campuses like this, so that we can kind of spread the word and just keep growing. The people my age are the ones that are going to be building the future for this method. So if you really want to invest in what we're doing here, I mean, this is the chance to do it. So yeah, definitely. Thanks for doing that. We're also looking for volunteers as well, who are willing to help me out running the booth. I won't be able to run the booth the entire time, especially while I'm speaking. So if you're in the Ohio area and you're planning on coming to the Secular Student Alliance Conference, definitely hit us up in one of the Street Epistemology Facebook groups. You can message me on Twitter at ObjectivelyDan or Anthony, and we will see if you can help us out. So yeah.
I wanted to mention one more thing. Ryan was talking about how the money goes for the table and goes to cover the expenses for the event. When we place our order for the items with the SE logo on them to give away to the students who will be attending this conference, a percentage of that purchase will be held and given back to us when we form an organization for SE. So this is a really good use of your money, and I hope you can help us out, even if it's $5 or $10. It will be put to very good use, and I really think it's going to help spread the word to the people that I think will respond to it the most favorably, and hopefully, like Daniel was saying, kind of take it to the next level.
It's gonna be great.
All right, guys. Well, anything else you want to say? How can people reach you? Let's go over that real quick. Ryan?
Yeah, you can reach me at SSA on Facebook. If you're my friend on Facebook, of course, just message me there. But you can email me at ryan.bell@secularstudents.org, and my Twitter is just Ryan J. Bell.
All right, awesome. Daniel?
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at ObjectivelyDan. And you can also find my personal Facebook through some of the Street Epistemology Facebook groups, whether that's the study group or some of the other groups. You can message me on there as well.
All right, awesome. And you guys can find me on Twitter at Magnabosco. And if you're watching this video, you already have my YouTube channel. But feel free to reach out. We'd love to hear from you. If you have any ideas on how we can make Daniel's appearance at this conference more effective, please bring those suggestions to us. And thank you, gentlemen, for joining me. This was a great talk, and I'm really excited to hear how it all turns out at the end of June.
Yeah, and if you want to join us at the conference, you can learn more at secularstudents.org. It's not just for students, so if you're, you want to come out and enjoy kind of the speakers that we've lined up, you can learn all about it on our website at secularstudents.org.
Wonderful. All right, gentlemen, thank you very much. Have a great evening, and I'm really excited to see how this turns out.
Yes, me too.